everybody, welcome to Stonx Music. My name's Ollie and today we're going to be having a look at grain delay in this deep dive session. Let's go! Right, so here we are back in the Ableton Manual. Let's see what they've got to say about grain delay. The grain delay effect slices the input signal into tiny particles called grains that are then individually delayed and can also have different pitches compared to the original signal source. Randomizing pitch and delay time can create complex masses of sound and rhythm that seem to bear little relationship to the source. This can be very useful in creating new sounds and textures, as well as getting rid of unwelcomed house guests or terrifying small pets. They say just kidding, but they're not. You can route each parameter to the XY controller's horizontal or vertical axis. To assign the parameter to the X-axis, choose it from the parameter row below the controller. To assign the parameter to the Y-axis, use the parameter row on the left side. To refer delay time to the song tempo, activate the sync switch, which allows using the delay time beat division chooser. The numbered switches represent time delay in 16th notes. For example, selecting the 4 delays the signal by 4 16th notes, which equals 1 beat, 1/4 note of delay. The sync mode active, changing the delay time field percentage value, shortens and extends delay times by a fractional amount, thus producing the swing type of timing effect found in drum machines. If the sync switch is off, the delay time reverts to milliseconds. In this case, to edit the delay time, click and drag up or down in the delay time field, or click in the field and type in a value. Delay time can also be routed to the horizontal axis of the XY controller. The spray control adds random delay time changes. Low values smear the signal across time, which adds noisiness to the sound. High spray time completely break down the structure of the source signal, introducing varying degrees of rhythmic chaos. This is the recommended setting for anarchists. The size and duration of each grain is a function of the frequency parameter. The sound of pitch and spray depends very much on this parameter. You can transpose the grain pitch with the pitch parameter, which acts much like a crude pitch shifter. The random pitch control adds random variations to each grain's pitch. Low values create a sort of mutant chorusing effect, while high values can make the original source pitch completely unintelligible. This parameter can interact with the main pitch control, thus allowing degrees of stability and instability in a sound's pitch structure. The feedback parameter sets how much of the output signal returns to the delay line input. Very high values can lead to a runaway feedback and produce loud oscillation. Watch your ears and speakers if you decide to check out extreme feedback settings. Grain delay also has a dry-wet control, which can be routed to the vertical axis of the XY controller. So, this is a nutty one. Let's just jump into Ableton and make a bunch of noise. Right, so here we are back in Ableton. Now, the grain delay. For me, two main uses of this. One of them is to help my transitions. So at the end of a bar, when I'm going into a breakdown section or something, I'll use this just to kind of spread everything around. The other thing is when I'm starting a song, to help me make some kind of weird ambient soundscape to kind of give me a backbone that I'm working on. So we'll start with that. I'm going to grab an operator, as I usually do. Whoop, there we go. And let's just do a bit of crazy FM. So I'll turn the grain delay off for now. And let's move some of these along a bit, so they kind of just do something at different times. And let's hit these courses up a little bit, hit these fines up a little bit too, and then let's just change sign to some user thing. No, I don't want white noise. Let's start that again. There we go. That's a bit much too. And this one we'll start with the sign, but just to add a few more bits in here and there, and this one let's do the same. Now I don't really care too much about different notes. I'm just going to hit one note and kind of make a big old smeared thing. So let's do pitch envelope. Maybe not pitch envelope. Let's see what some of these do. Quite like that one. That'll do for now. And let's make some of these just fade in a bit longer. fades in over time. Leave the time and the tone. Let's grab our filter. And where do we want the filter destination? Take the LFO on and stick that to the filter like this. We've just got kind of something there. It's a bit distorted, it's a bit of noise, a bit of something to kind of mess with. Let's knock the spread up a bit as well, actually. Cool, so we have a noise. That's not too inspirational really for the start of a song. It's kind of, it has some character to it. Let's turn grain delay on and mess around with all these parameters until we completely kind of break the sound and give ourselves a new kind of idea of some place to start, basically. And like I say, I'd use this for ambience, for a background texture. Let's hit a G. Let's go down there. I'm just plugging the MIDI in so I don't have to worry about holding notes and pressing stuff. So first of all, let's go down. We'll leave our dry wet at 100%. And on this bottom one, let's go delay time against spray and see how that sounds. I'm going to turn sync off so we get more of a kind of gradual movement. And with the XY, we have down here, you can see spray. I'm going to use my finger to point, but you can't see it there. Spray at 0, going up to full. And then here we have delay time at 1 millisecond going up to full. So full spray, full time, come down on the time. Kind of nice. It kind of sounds like it's in a cave or something. So these two will stay there if we then click another pair. So let's go frequency against, obviously if we click spray that's going to change the spray. So let's go frequency against pitch. So now we can, leaving the spray and the time where it is, mess around with another two. It's quite cool. Ooh, I like that. It's got some kind of metallic-y resonance to it. Right, let's just loop this. So next we have random pitch against feedback. Bit too much up there, I'd say. So I'd say, for me, that's the kind of thing that I'd love. As an intro, I've kind of given myself some nice texture, something to work off. Let's take the loop off and we will just extend this for a bit longer. And yeah, there we go. So from a kind of standard noise, we've now got this. Got these other kind of like ship kind of things flying around. That would give me the idea to kind of reinforce that with some other things. So like, I don't know, maybe grab a snare drum, snare sample. Got just some single hits, please. Something like that will probably do. So let's just have a listen from the beginning, try and find where those snares were. like, it doesn't do the same thing every time, does it? So, maybe. Flip, 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 something like that. So let's grab that. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll start that on here. Something like there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab our grain delay, and we're just going to try and spread these snares so they go somewhere else. So let's loop. Just going to loop just that section there. Okay. I quite like that madness filtering out. So let's go dun, 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 copy that a bunch of times, and then we will get our spray amount here, right click, show automation, and slowly bring that down until we end up with our like chung kun kun king, chung kun 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 king. And then as it's reinforcing that rhythm, we'd probably come in with some like other drums and reinforce that rhythm. So let's have a quick listen. When that frequency starts coming in, that's pretty cool. I'd then probably bring that up, or up that way. Okay, up would be that way then. It's just kind of creating this. All right, calm down. There we go. Just kind of creating this evolving atmosphere. So we could do the same with this initial one up here and kind of slowly change the spray over time. Get that random pitch, change the automation of that. And just kind of create more of an ambient soundscape and something to kind of give me some ideas and trigger me to do some other stuff. So let's just have a listen again with these changing bits. Just skip that here. So yeah, at first it's not the most musical of effects. It's definitely one that's going to give you a bit of weirdness. But we all love a bit of weirdness, don't we? It's all about kind of experimenting and seeing what we can do. So that's one way I generally start a track. I'm trying to make some atmosphere, trying to make something just a little strange, something to kind of trigger some ideas, and then I'll probably rein that in again and, you know, hone it down to something that's more of a concise idea. But just as an experimental session, it's a really nice way to kind of give yourself an idea of where to start. So the other thing that I'd like to do with this is, let me just grab some of my drums. Let's come here, D&V drums, one hit. Let's grab a kick. That's not even the kick. Come on, give me the kick. Kick and a snare. Clean snare's fine, thank you very much. Got any hats up here, or is it empty folder? It's an empty folder, so let's just go to hats and grab something, please. Just want one hat. Maybe I should put hat to. There we go, there's a single hat. Right. Bum ba da bum. Let's go to kick on the snare on the 2 and 4. Kick there, and we'll put that on a gat, and we'll do you like this. Boring, but it will do for now. Times that by 4. So let's go. It's half that because that's a bit much. So, not the most interesting, but what we can do is duplicate this, take one of these snares, and let's pitch it up. I'll just do something a little more fun with it. Let's go. Put it here. And then let's spread that out with our grain delay. So for this, I quite like to go to the presets and take the Tubby, which is a King Tubby, old dub producer. Find somewhere with a nice bit of that spray. Let's have a listen to this now. Might be able to move that forward onto the 2. Or like just after. Nice, that just gives a nice cool bit of texture. I'm going to copy that across every time. And then let's move our spray amount around. So that second one we'll do something like down here and moving up. Have the third one the same as the first one, and then the fourth one, let's do this. We've got so that's really nice, that one that's quite fast, although I still like this one that kind of spreads. So let's see if we can do something like this. Whoop, let's draw that kind of coming up again. How about that? Nice. Let's loop. Oop, there we go. We turn that down. So it's turning that snare pitched up, so it's got some different kind of frequencies, and just giving it some of that weird spread and weird movement. I really like that. It's a good bit of fun to kind of get some more texture in on your drums. So the other thing we could do, if we just get a new audio channel, let's freeze it, and I'm just going to drag it across all of you down to here. Unfreeze, there we go, turn it off, and let's just drag that out to the whole thing so we can see what we've got now. Close that one down. So you can see these extra kind of little bits and bobs here. You can see some nice panning and nice other bits. So we could then take this, E to cut it, warp mode, let's go from beats to texture, times 2 times 2 times 2 a few times, and move this forwards, move this here, and then have a look at our grain size and flux. So this is essentially the same thing. This grain size is the same as what the grain delay is doing. So let's have a quick listen to what we've just done by stretching it, breaking it into these different grains, and then we could take the grain size, open up the clip automation, and kind of like push it down Bring it back up and take our flux as well. Bring that, let's leave it up and then bring it down when the other one goes up. So maybe take the flux up at the end. And again, just creating more texture around those drums. Might want to start that at the beginning here. And I'd treat this probably differently to that snare, so let's just give it its own channel back. I will delete the rest of this, turn this on, turn this one down to like -12, and drag that out. What have we got? Boost that volume just to see where things are happening. Still got little bits there, so let's J this together just so we can see what we've done. We don't want that there. In fact, let's just take that first half of it. I really like this bit. Just as a tail maybe. So let's fade in just this bit so we have our initial bump and then this kind of grainy tail. Have that kind of fade into where this one fades out. Nice, and maybe turn that up a bit, -9. So it is a bit of chaos, it is a bit of madness, but it's really quite a nice one to kind of give you some of that grain. It's kind of granular synthesis. It's kind of there's a lot of people that just scared of it because it's mad, and there's a lot of people that really embrace it, and you can get some kind of crazy noises from it. So that's one thing I like to do to give myself some kind of texture in the drums. The next thing I'll do is group all of this, and let's chuck our grain delay on the group, and imagine that we're coming up to a break section or a transition. And first of all, before I mess with anything, I'll get the dry wet, right click, automation, and we're going to have the dry wet come up on that last hit. So let's mess around and find something we like. Let's turn the spray up quite a bit. Random pitch doesn't really matter, we want the feedback up, and then frequency against pitch. Let's just see what we got here. So we'll take this last note. That's quite nice. I say nice, you know, depending on what you call nice. So if that was a break section hit we had happening here, we were going off to a different section. Rather than your drums just stopping, rather than filtering your drums out, you kind of get this cool breakdown of all your elements. So you got like that's a bit of a quick destruction there. So you might want to take that just for this kind of end bit here somewhere. Just filters up, and you don't necessarily want 100%. Then maybe let's get a normal delay first. Let's have that coming in after a minute. So we can get our normal delay dry wet, have that coming up here, and we're going to set that to super quick, feedback up to like 90%. Let's get that just a little bit of a pew. So if we turn the grain delay off, we can just hear this. So it's created here. And then we can probably take that dry wet short automation and turn that off straight away. So it's going to go. Then that's going to be caught by this grain delay. Which is kind of cool bit of fun. So if you imagine we had some pad line building up or something, let's not do an audio track, let's do a MIDI track, and grab an operator, I'm just kind of going to just do something. M. Octave up. So imagine we've got something like this. Kind of boring, kind of rubbish, but if you imagine that that was filtering up, auto filter, boom, do it that way, frequency filter up, have that filtering up over that bar into here. Whatever else going on in this part. So without that grain delay on these effects, you're just going to have these sections that just bam end, right? That's a little bit boring, and then you might be going through your sample packs trying to find, oh, I need some kind of impact, I need some kind of riser, I need this, I need that. Well, I find it much nicer to be using derivatives of the sounds that you already have. So it's just a real nice way to grain delay, kind of spread and smear your sounds across the spectrum to give you this kind of nice transitioning sound. And hopefully you'll write a better pad line than me. That was just me hitting the keyboard. Yeah, so basically that's grain delay. It's a bit of a weird one. You can do some really cool stuff with it if you spend some good time kind of honing in the samples and messing in. I do quite like it. Go on, we'll just spend one more time doing something else. I quite like it for doing kind of halftime stuff. So I'm going to actually grab, let's do this on new audio. New audio tracks for both of these. Get these guys down here, and we'll go. Let's grab 4 bars, please. There we go. Control L. So I'll put the snares on the 3s. On the 3s, on the 3s, on the 3s. And I don't really know what we'll do with the kicks yet. Let's do that. Let's just do that and we'll see. Right, grab our grain delay on the snare and let's just have a little mess around. Spray. Delay time. Feedback up. Let's turn the dry wet down so we still get that initial snare. Filling in all of that space. Let's grab another one on the kick and we're going to try and make it kind of do some cool stuttery things. Let's take the feedback up straight away. And that snare's a bit naff. Let's turn this down. we can automate these movements either by drawing it in or by grabbing a max device. So let's grab this and we'll go for, I don't know, LFO. I usually just grab, it's one of the easiest ones to kind of just set up, and there we go. Do another one, map that one to the pitch. Try and make the snare a bit cooler. Let's go time and just make it do like a... So I don't know about the snare, but definitely using it on that kick, that's quite fun. And again, it's a bit chaotic. I like to use it earlier on in my productions to kind of give me ideas to feed off. I find if you've got a whole track rolling and you start putting grain delays on stuff, it can get a little bit out of hand. But man, if that's your style and you want it to get out of hand, go for it. It's a good load of fun. So yeah, there's a few things that I would do with grain delay. Alright everyone, that does it for this episode of Deep Dive. As always, project files are available down in the description. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any more of these Deep Dive sessions, and I will catch up with you guys next time. Bye!